Hi, this is the mid-July garden tour here in New York, about an hour north of the city. It has been a scorcher of a month, so let's get this tour started. So we have plenty of tomatoes coming on the vines, but not ripening just yet. A couple more weeks, I'd say. And the cucamelons are in, and I'm not sure I really care for them. They would definitely be great pickled, but you would need an awful lot to make that worthwhile. It has been so dry. We've had a spittle of rain way back the July 3rd, maybe it was. So we are suffering from blossom end rot on the paste tomatoes. I'm guessing I'm just not getting watering deep enough, and this is the side that gets sun for the most part of the day. So this is drying out a lot quicker than the back side. And I found Rutgers are determinate tomatoes. They've gotten to this 2 foot or so height and have stopped growing up. They are just very heavy with fruit, and there are multiple fruiting stems, which now I understand why people can't understand or have a hard time finding main stems when you tell them to single stem, because all the stems are fruiting stems. And you don't want to be taking those off. But I'm getting a lot of... Oh, that was a sucker I forgot to take off. Yeah, these fruits are heavy, and they are causing a lot of bending on the stems. But otherwise, the tomatoes are here. So that is nice to see. I have enjoyed maybe 3 ground cherries so far. I think chipmunks have discovered them and have been snacking on them daily, leaving me with paper husks. So finally smartened up, and I got my netting out, and maybe this will keep them out for a couple of days. And I'm thinking I'm going to be getting those rubber snakes, because those are effective. You just got to be on them, moving them around, so that they keep scaring the critters. But yeah, I'm hoping now I can actually eat some, because they're so delicious. The Thai basil flowers have just been full of bees and doing so well in this space. And the okra's coming along too. Not a bad space for the okra. They will do nicely here. And the zinnias are still alive. Proud of myself keeping these still alive and flowering. They are very pretty. I'm looking forward to saving seeds and doing a whole bunch of these next year. I threw some seeds, delphinium, what else? A couple other ones, and I was hoping to keep them from the squirrels and chipmunks and birds, but it's just been so hot. I don't know. I think I see a couple of sprouts, but I'm really not sure what, if anything, survives in this heat. And the same for the hydrangeas. I have to water them diligently, and they are still alive. I do have some bell peppers that I'm waiting to change color. I hope that happens before the bugs get them, because that one didn't make it. That got bugged. Boo. there's more. These are jalapenos. That one's cracking. That should be picked. There's plenty of fruit on there. Ginger chugging along. But looky, we have okra. Another day probably is all I need, and those will be ready, because I hear they get quick growth and you don't want to miss it. So I'm going to keep my eyes on those beauties. And then this kind of pepper, I still haven't figured out what it is loaded with fruit. I have to see when the best time to harvest. If they turn red, I really got to find out what variety that is. Another mystery variety has fruit down there. And these jalapenos are flowering finally, so they'll be fruiting soon. The green stalk currently has just a few things and not filled up. I got some Italian basil coming in. This is one of the ever-bearing strawberries. That's, I don't know if they'll flush again before. Oh yeah, there's a fruit right there. Cucamelons that I plugged in, and well, which one's this one? Buried Treasure Pink. It has fruit, but never enough to eat. It just shrivels up. I don't know what I'm doing wrong with that. Maybe needs more acid. But yeah, I have, these were in little grow bags for like too long. I just put this in, what, a week and a half ago? So they're finally thriving. So they'll be later in the season if for fruiting. But I might have enough to actually pickle. So we have quite a few of these frogs around, which is, I think, a good thing. And there's another kind that doesn't have the patterns. So that's nice to see. Whoop. Over here, once beautiful and lush potato has succumbed to some kind of fungal damage on the leaves, so it's dying out pretty quickly, and there's really nothing I can do about it. The bell pepper and jalapenos around it are doing okay. I think the subsoil is just so compact here that it's really stunting the growth. Like the eggplant hasn't gotten very tall. It looks healthy enough, but now here is where the rabbit chewed up, or maybe it was a vole, chewed up the stalks of the potatoes. I think these were the chieftain, so they're dying out very quickly and can basically be harvested anytime. A little bit better luck back there. Those haven't been as severely punished, so I have a few more weeks before that to harvest. Now I'm not sure, I have no idea actually how to grow rice. I'm not sure if I should be keeping this more watered. Like there should have been rain all month long that was keeping this more watered, so I don't know what to do exactly. I probably will put more water in there. Let's see. Over here's another round of russets that are flowering still. So that is coming on. It looks like it's getting some leaf damage as well. My snapdragons are still surviving over here. And whatever this was. And this potato patch still strong. These are mostly russets, although I'm seeing the yellowing coming on. Sweet potatoes are, I don't know, they're struggling. They should have had more growth by now, but It has been not great. What does look great are these, which are full tubers that were sprouted. So I plunked them in the ground, and they're looking very healthy. I don't know that I'll get new tubers out of them, because I feel like I should be eating the greens out of these more than anything else. Another slow growing are the melons. And so I have like 50% left of what I put in, and the majority of the 50% are never going to make it to anything. I mean, it's just barely hanging on over there. I have maybe 4 that might give me something. The kohlrabi has put on new growth, but that doesn't mean that the bunny isn't going to come back and take them. The rutabaga got a little bit nibbled, but for the most part it's being left alone. Got my sprigs of asparagus back there, along with my gigantic borage. If only I could grow everything like the borage grows. It's ridiculous. It's like a 2-inch trunk on that one. And this is the red garnet, I think, amaranth, that we're waiting for greens at the end of the summer. And here I'm letting cilantro seeds dry up for coriander. Hopefully I get most of them so I don't have crazy weeds of them later. Some little tomatoes from a hybrid are coming up, so I'm just letting a few grow up, see what they become, and then I gotta constantly be pulling the extras between the tomatillos and the cherry tomatoes. It's a lot of pulling weeds. And then the dill is on its way out. I'll collect some of the seeds, but otherwise I have still plenty from last year. The parsley I need to harvest and dry. This is the curly leaf and the flat leaf. And I took some cuttings of the yarrow and I'm drying that to see if I can make some kind of herbal medicine. This is one of the cherry tomatoes that I'm letting go. I'm pretty sure it's one of the parents of the Sweet 100, because that's what was over here last year. So it's very bushy, lots of fruits, so I'll be interested to see how that tastes, because you either forgo taste for disease resistance or productivity when you do these hybrids. And there's a few more tomatoes that I'm just letting go until they get in the way, then I'll take those out. And the first sunflower showed up last week. Actually, this was the very first one, but it's on its way out now. Getting its little seeds eaten. So I look forward to getting the whole row of sunflowers. If you're lucky enough to get one of these, they are so tasty. They're tart. They're not getting the full sun and all that much water, so They are delicious. The last flush of the hollyhock. And a very nice showing of the calendula. I've been picking petals here and there to make a salve. Scabiosa's coming along down there, and then next round of calendula. And there's only, what did I plant? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 plugs, and only 2 have survived the mold damage. The rosemary's doing well though. That's great. And then this plot is for future flower seeds. So I'm letting a few of the self-seeded ground cherry stay put and grow and give us more ground cherries, or at least the squirrels can have this patch. And then the corn is coming up. The ones in the back, they've tasseled, I don't know how well they're gonna do because it's such a sparse amount there. But those were the ones I had seeded indoors early May or end of April, and they didn't sell at the plant sale, so I put them in. So they are the first to go, and everybody else, so this whole line were grown indoors, and then everybody else was seeded. So they will come a little bit later, but I see we've got activity in this one, so this will be soon. So we'll get some corn this year, some useful corn. But yeah, this patch I kept putting seeds in and it never came up. Kept getting stolen. This is more black creme that I'm saving seeds from. So this is fruiting. Nice. And I've got some lacinato and curly kale, or blue, what's it called? Some kind of kale interspersed here with some straggly asparagus also. Alright, I think I've got this, not specifically, but I've got mosh, miner's lettuce, purslane, which I haven't done anything with, sorrel, 2 kinds of sorrel, the Claytonia, yeah, and then this is thyme, and this is oregano, I think. And those are what's growing in this patch of containers. I don't think I'm gonna get fruit out of the figs this year. It's not looking likely. No little bulby things. And the sunchokes should give me flowers eventually. What else? We do have some activity on these raspberries, but I don't know how well that's going to come through. And this potato patch coming through as well, a little bit dry. What's this? This is a weed. Doesn't belong. Oh. And the cosmos have come up. The ones that self-seeded came up first, and then the ones in this container after. The ones that are like purplish haven't come up yet. And this bed is doing nicely. These were self-seeded marigolds, probably the French dwarf. We've had some salads with this amaranth. The celery is fantastic. Continue to eat the spinach even though they're going to flower because they don't go bitter. Continuing to eat the gigantic Swiss chard. Over here, more Swiss chard taking over the spinach. Here's the Malabar starting to vine up. The carrots I can't even see, and some cucamelon vines coming up also in the back area. But over here we have the butternut squash doing so well, growing really healthy, and finally finding the trellis. We have lots of food coming in. And it's going to be a butternut squash year. And I think the acorn squash will also be a good harvest. I gotta trim some of the leaves because it's hiding the few edamames that have managed to survive. Here's another one. This is a loofah. Don't know. This is shading out some beans over there. Here's an edamame that's gonna be ready before the others. This is another acorn squash, and then I got the cucumbers coming up this trellis. Oh, and this is the tromboncino. It has grown ridiculous. It's all the way out here now. I haven't even been paying attention. It grows like 6 inches a day, 4 to 6 inches at least. But those will be cool. A little container of beets. I think that needs water. The carrots are doing better. A little bit more shaded. Here we have more beans. This one of the earlier planted ones, making it up the trellis. I saw, yep, there it is. Some beans are coming on. I think I gotta take out this low-hanging branch. It's shading too much. The nasturtium are in full bloom. And then this very sad patch of rhubarb is just so dry. I've not been able to water them accurately, and it's kind of shady here too, but either gonna relocate them or sell them, root them up and sell them next year, because this isn't the best space for them. This is a bird-seeded sunflower. I'm not sure if it came from the bird feed or if it was a seed they stole from the patch in the front that I was trying to develop. But it is my height, or past my height probably, 5'8"ish. So I'm expecting beautiful things from this. And I have supported it with a bamboo cane because I don't want it to flop over. Particularly if we have a storm that's being promised come in. Alright, this pumpkin, These pumpkins are growing. This moon and stars is still alive. Nope. Oh, that's what? An opal or San Marzano? Not sure. Over here, another self-seeded or bird-seeded sunflower and sugar baby watermelons. So tiny. And another much better looking pumpkin plants. And I actually did a little weeding on the half circle of asparagus so I can see them now. Oh, and I moved this bird feeder. It was underneath this maple. And birds and chipmunks and squirrels do a really good job of clearing, you know, the earth, just like regular chickens. So since I have a really big problem with the invasive, like the fake strawberry plant, I really am hoping the birds and other critters get in here and clear up some of this, and then I'll move the bird feeder around as they clear the ground, because they have really choked up that area there. Except over here, I don't know what these weeds are, so I haven't weeded over here, but I can see through there the asparagus surviving. Now up here is the sunny spot for the rhubarb. They've also been getting annihilated by the Japanese beetles, but hopefully that will be over soon. They're doing really well here, but it's been so dry. Everything's getting very crispy. I have good size on those, some of the leeks anyway. Some broccoli, kale, more asparagus, some onions coming slowly but surely. The artichoke. This is another acorn squashy. In here in the birdies raised beds, we have some later crops of broccoli. They're not heading yet, so I have hope that these will be better heads, and I don't see as much bug damage except for some slugs. That's okay, as long as it's not the cabbage moths. But I don't know, the leaves are starting to touch the fabric, which means there could be cabbage moths in there. I have to get in there and inspect this closely. And the leeks are coming along in there as well. Then these are the broccolis that I let go to flower because they did get cabbage moth damage. So right now they're just placeholders for the next round of broccoli for fall gardening. And here's another patch of potatoes. They've all fallen over. I don't know if that meant too much nitrogen or what, but they're succumbing to the heat and some kind of bug damage. Those in the grow bags will probably be ready sooner than the ones in the ground. And as you can see, we have one wall up of the chicken coop, and that is going to be in an upcoming video on the process we are halfway through. But that concludes the July garden tour. I hope we get some much needed rain. I mean, they're saying tonight, tomorrow, all day, but it's not really high percentage. Crossing my fingers because my plants really need it. Hose water just isn't cutting it. I hope you're all having a good day and week. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.